It's so messed up you can't ever say you're 5'10" or less. You can barely even say you're 5'10". I think this is one of the conspiracy theories I talk about all the time, but if you were to ask the male population to self-report height, you would expect it, I imagine, to be a normal distribution, a Gaussian distribution. But I bet that 5'10" and 6 foot have way more people reporting it than 5'11". Because if you're really 5'11", you're not going to say you're 5'11". Many people will just round it up and say they're 6 feet. If you're 5'9", you're not going to lie and say you're 6 feet because someone could call you on that. 6 feet is a very common height. If you were in public and you were like, I'm 6 feet tall, someone might be like, okay, King, let's go back to back. What do you say if you're exactly 6 feet? I think you say 6 feet, me personally. And then you just use that to height shame other people who lie and say they're 6 feet tall. Like if you're actually 181 centimeters or whatever, you should just be the Rorschach. Whenever anybody says they're 6 feet, you should be like, all right, bro, measure up. We're going nose to nose. 6'4" is life cheats. I don't know. Like I've never found my height to be a problem. I feel like 6'2" is where it starts to be like you're getting some marginal improvement, but also, you're more uncomfortable, like in cars and on flights and stuff like that. You're hitting your head. I mean, I'll hit my head on occasion, and I'm only 5'10". If you had 4 inches on top of that, we're getting into. I'd probably be smacking this Marty around all the time. Like I think Apollo is really tall. I think he's 6'4". You're gonna say like that's not really tall. I think you're out of touch, honestly. He's not the tallest man on earth, the broadest shoulders, Sufjan Stevens, but it's tall enough. Let me put it this way: if you saw Apollo in the mall, you wouldn't be like, look at that tall guy. You would just look at him and be like, he's tall. But if someone introduced you to him and said, this is my friend Apollo, you would be like, how's the weather up there? There's some guys you see in the mall and you're like, you are Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse. You're like, but it's like a tall person to meet. 6'4" is not tall to see, like it's not circus tall, but it's tall enough to remark upon if you have some rapport. And even he complains about like height-based problems. And I'm like, 6'4" is like, there's people a lot taller than that. The world was, especially like old buildings were built by shorter people. Like if you go into a modern building, you're not smacking your head on anything. But if you go over to like your grandma's house and your granddad built it with his bare hands in like 1957, your ass is like on a scooter the whole time on your knees.
Were you talking shit earlier, by the way, Ryan?
I don't think I was talking about how here's what I said verbatim, okay? I swear it to you. I said you are tall enough. Let me rephrase. I said you're tall, but you're not the kind of tall where if I just saw you as a stranger at the mall, I would be like, whoa, look at that tall guy. But if someone was like, hey, here's my friend Apollo, I would be like, whoa, you're tall.
Yeah, that tracks.
Which is good. That means you're not like freak tall. You're just like tall.
I will say that I think I'm right under freak tall. Yeah.
Did anyone else go, that's an awfully tall stranger at the mall?
I had that thought. I didn't go for it.
The worst height when you're tall has got to be like 6'7", right? Because it's like you're tall, but like not tall enough to get into the NBA with no talent.
What?
No.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I've said this to my chat before. I am annoyed at short people because they don't know how good they have it.
Randy Newman.
They're like, bro,
I haven't
no.
I
wish I could reach that can of beans in the pantry, and it's like, I'm over here like, I wish my back wasn't hurting at the age of 28. Like,
no, because
I like being short.
What
it ticks me off is tall people or normal people are like, oh, your life must suck. And it's like, you don't even know, man.
Tall people literally on average die sooner than short people.
It's true.
Yeah.
Taking up less space is good.
Oh, shit.
but they live
Yeah,
harder.
but being
usually.
short is probably more depressing.
I must bother you too when you complain about like your knees hurting after a flight, and then someone my height is like, yeah, me too. So you're like, bro,
I'm
you
just
don't
saying,
even know.
all the other people at my height and my age are not. They're like, yeah, no, he's right. It sucks.
Apollo, I'm not trying to start an argument. No, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it.
Join the lobby, then say it.
Us as a collective, not just you, we do sit down all day, every day. That might have a contributing
really
factor
not
to having
good.
it
Oh,
so
so
bad.
all of your backs are horribly ruined at the age of 30 already?
Yes, I have I think extreme scoliosis.
I don't think
That's some
true
Harry
at all.
Potter
Okay,
curse.
not the like born with scoliosis. The scoliosis that you develop because you sit funky for every day for the rest of your life. Not the one that's like, oh, your baby was born and their spine isn't right. The one where it's like, oh, you're 26 and you've been sitting fucked up. Your posture's like gonna need a lot of work to correct. Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay, I had the best response of all time, so I'm already in and I can keep going. It's not, I don't hate short people, okay? I just hate when short people say, oh, you have it so good being tall. It's so awesome when being tall when they're not tall themselves. And they don't know,
Grass
they
is
don't know
always
what it's
greener,
like, man.
I was like a couple weeks ago. I had the cable guy come over to
I know how that went.
inspect our Wi-Fi or our router anyway. Dude was like 7 foot tall. Like he had to duck to walk into my apartment. Right? And the whole time I'm like, don't ask him how tall he is. Don't ask him how tall he is. Don't ask him how tall he is. Don't ask him. But like there's like a little demon in the back of my head, right? That's like,
but how
tall is he? How tall is he? How tall is he? And I'm like, I hope you don't mind, but how tall are you? And he's like, I'm tall enough. And then he goes on like a tirade about all these stories about how people ask him how there's the weather there, and he was like on a
Do you
family
play
vacation.
basketball?
Yeah, and a woman asked him how tall he was, and he's like, how the fuck do you ask somebody that? And when you see a fat guy, do you say, how fat are you? And I'm like, oh man, I really touched a nerve.
Most
buddy.
normal tall guy.
That is a bit, as another tall guy, that's a little aggressive.
I'm like,
Bro,
oh man,
that
I
is
feel
so
really
funny
bad.
too,
Because he's a cable guy, you should have said, how's the signal up there?
Hey!
Oh, that would have been good.
I do think it's funny that there's some tall guy out there that's been so jokeified, and his revenge is going to people that are like overweight and being like, "How fat are you?" Like, bro, what are you doing? Come on, man. Like, you're just fucked up.
You make me feel like I'm living a traffic dream. The way you built a lane, I will drive to the grocery store and everywhere else, You got your top pulled back, got your luggage rack, got your traffic dream tonight. Yeah, when you ripped up jeans and your tight ass jeans with your turbo team tonight. How does it go? When you, baby, lay your hands on me with your ripped up jeans, with your teenage zines tonight. Something like that. It's a pretty good song.